edge of a whispering forest lived a sweet little girl. Everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood because she always wore a beautiful red cloak with a hood, a gift from her dear grandmother. One sunny morning, her mother called out to her, "Little Red Riding Hood, come here, my dear. Your grandmother isn't feeling well, and I've baked a fresh cake and prepared some special butter for her. Please take this basket to her cottage. Be very careful on your way, and whatever you do, don't stray from the path. Go straight there and back, and don't speak to strangers. All right?" Little Red Riding Hood hugged her mother. "Yes, Mamma," she promised, her eyes bright with eagerness. "I'll be very careful." So, with her basket in hand, Little Red Riding Hood stepped out and began her journey into the deep green forest. The sun dappled through the leaves, birds sang sweetly, and pretty wild flowers dotted the ground. It was a lovely day, and Little Red Riding Hood hummed a little tune as she walked, enjoying the quiet beauty around her. She hadn't gone far when from behind a large oak tree a smooth, sly voice greeted her. "Good morning, Little Red Riding Hood." She looked up, surprised, to see a big bad wolf peering out. He looked rather charming, with a friendly, though somewhat too wide smile. Little Red Riding Hood, who had never seen a wolf before, didn't know what a truly wicked creature he was. "Good morning, Mr. Wolf," she replied politely. "And where are you off to so early, my dear?" the wolf asked, his eyes gleaming. "To my grandmother's house," she said. "She's ill, and I'm bringing her cake and butter." The wolf's eyes widened with a cunning glint. "Oh, how thoughtful of you! But look, Little Red Riding Hood, aren't these flowers just beautiful? Why don't you pick a lovely bouquet for your grandmother? I'm sure she will love them. You have plenty of time, don't you?" Little Red Riding Hood looked around. The forest floor was indeed covered in a rainbow of blossoms. "Oh, yes!" she exclaimed. "What a wonderful idea!" And so she set her basket down and began to skip off the path, gathering handfuls of bright flowers, delighted with her task. The wolf, meanwhile, smiled a very, very wide smile. He knew exactly what he would do. Without another thought, the big bad wolf turned and raced, swift as the wind, straight to the grandmother's cottage. He knocked softly on the door. "Who's there?" called a frail voice from inside. The wolf disguised his own gruff voice, making it sweet and gentle. "It's Little Red Riding Hood, Grandma. I brought you some cake and butter." "Just lift the latch, dear," the old woman called. "I am too weak to get out of bed." The wolf pushed open the door and slipped inside. In just a moment, before the poor grandmother could even cry out, the wolf had swallowed her whole. He then quickly put on her nightcap, pulled the covers right up to his nose, and waited. A little while later, Little Red Riding Hood arrived at her grandmother's cottage. She felt a strange quietness as she approached the slightly ajar door. Something felt different. She pushed the door open cautiously and stepped inside. "Grandmother," she called softly, I have brought you some cake and butter. She went into the bedroom. In the bed, the figure under the covers looked very odd. Come closer, my dear, a raspy voice whispered. Little Red Riding Hood came to the bedside. Oh, grandmother, she said, her voice full of concern. What big ears you have! The better to hear you with, my dear, groaned the wolf. And grandmother, she continued, what big eyes you have! The better to see you with, my dear, rasped the wolf. But grandmother, Little Red Riding Hood cried, now feeling a shiver of fear. What big teeth you have! The better to eat you with, my dear, roared the wolf, throwing back the covers. And with one giant gulp, the big bad wolf swallowed Little Red Riding Hood whole, just like he had her grandmother. Then, feeling very full, he climbed back into the bed, pulled the covers up, and quickly fell asleep, snoring loudly. A kind woodcutter was passing by the cottage on his way home from work. He heard the incredibly loud snores coming from inside. That's not grandmother's gentle snore, he thought. Something isn't right. He quietly pushed open the door and peeked in. When he saw the wolf in the bed, looking suspiciously plump, he knew instantly what had happened. The brave woodcutter didn't hesitate. He raised his axe and with one swift movement opened the wolf's belly. To his astonishment, out popped Little Red Riding Hood and then her grandmother, both alive and well, if a little dusty. Oh, thank you, they cried. To make sure the wolf would never trouble anyone again, they filled his belly with heavy stones. Then they rolled him to the well, and he tumbled deep inside, never to be seen again. Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother sat down and shared the cake and butter. Grandmother was feeling much better, and Little Red Riding Hood had learned a very important lesson that day. From that day forward, Little Red Riding Hood always remembered her mother's word. Never stray from the path, and never ever speak to strangers. And she lived happily ever after, always safe and sound, warm in her little red cloak. Good night, everyone. Sleep tight.